from our 7 Tasmania studios. Your nightly news with Louise Hubar begins now.
Well, the major parties have hardly come out swinging in Tasmania on the first full election day, with no fresh pledges for our state. That's despite both sides hitting battleground seats in the north.
With pallet loads of political promises incoming over the next 5 weeks, today's delivery from the major parties was a little light. The Liberals talking freight, ironically interrupted by an incoming delivery while reiterating their promised $65 million boost to the antiquated Tasmanian freight equalisation scheme.
Transport of that freight across Bass Strait is as if it were a highway, not as if it were a great big body of water.
It would mean a 22% increase, the rebate for goods being shipped in and out of Tasmania.
And those farmers really need the surety that the government's behind them and that we can have an increase that hasn't happened since 1999.
Labor's completely committed to making sure that Tasmanians get a fair deal on this.
Labor hitting the streets of Launceston to spruik promised boosts to bulk billing and cheaper medicines.
One of the ways we've been acting on cost of living is by making healthcare less expensive, and the Albanese Labor government's been delivering that.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
Hundreds of keen athletes have hit the slopes of Kunyani Mount Wellington as part of a 3-day running festival. They battled tough terrain and cold conditions, all while soaking in the magic of the iconic Hobart backdrop.
After paying respect at a smoking ceremony, keen athletes gathered nervously at the starting line. They were facing no walk in the park, instead a steep 25-kilometre trail run up Kunyani Mount Wellington.
2, 1,
The event is in its 4th year, with organisers claiming this time round is bigger and better than ever.
This year we have around 1,200 runners. We've increased by about 25% from last year, and that was our biggest ever.
More than a third of competitors have flown in from interstate and even overseas. There are 8 different events spread over 3 days, ranging from 9Ks to a gruelling 66K challenge. The main attraction, the 25K run or walk.
I've always had a connection with our mountain, and so I'm just really excited to enjoy Kunyani.
A little bit nervous about the climb.
If running 25 kilometres up Kunyani Mount Wellington isn't your idea of fun, there's plenty of other activities available over the 3-day festival. There's a kids' entertainment tent, a fun run and a Palawa cultural walk.
It was an awesome day for me, and just to be in an awesome running community in Hobart is just fantastic. It's an awesome race.
First over the line for the 25K was Leo Peterson, who beat last year's record by more than a minute and a half.
This race to me was like a sort of a selection evidence to go to World Champs, so I just went as hard as I could.
It's such a fabulous relief because he's worked really hard for that win.
The 3rd and final day of the event kicks off tomorrow with the Foothills 9K run. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
The Greens have grand plans to create political history in Tasmania. If Senate candidate Vanessa Blair is successful alongside incumbent Nick McKim, it would be the first time the party's had 2 members elected to the upper house at the same time in a regular election.
More and more people are aware that this is a moment to send a really strong message to the old political parties that business as usual is not an option.
Greens candidates hosted a Q&A for party faithful in Launceston today. Tasmania's peak business and renewable energy groups are calling for more action to get clean power projects going across the state. It follows recent comments from the Energy Minister raising doubts on the state government's commitment to a key development, but he insists he is.
The Apple Isle is often touted as a national leader in renewables, but business groups say the state's charge to a clean energy future has lost its spark.
We've seen very little actually happening.
The Chamber of Commerce and Industry, together with Clean Energy Tasmania, launching a campaign to get the ball rolling on Marinus Link, the Northwest Transmission development, and at least one major wind farm.
We have developers ready to go. We have projects ready to go. We have a state that desperately needs the money, an industry that desperately needs the power.
Urging the state government to play its part, especially on the transmission line.
It would be one of the biggest own goals in Tasmania's history if we didn't have that project and we had Marinus.
Following claims Energy Minister Nick Duigan tried to walk back the government's commitment to the Northwest development.
Tasmania needs this. It is our future, and we need to 100% have this government, as TCCI and Clean Energy Tasmania say, they've got to get real.
Energy Minister Nick Duigan says the state government is committed to Marinus Link and the Northwest transmission line. It's now awaiting a final investment decision due in the coming months to ensure Marinus proceeds once the final arrangements stack up for Tasmania. While the major parties at the federal level also promising to have the undersea power cable connected up in the long term in the race to win votes ahead of polling day on May 3.
Completely committed, that's why we've ordered the cable. Completely committed.
Absolutely, we are committed to supporting this project.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
The fallout continues from Launceston Mayor Matthew Garwood's meet and greet with controversial rock singer Ronnie Radke. More than 2,000 people signing an online petition in 24 hours, calling for Launceston councillors to be sacked after a successful no confidence motion. It comes after Mr Garwood called his own future as mayor into question yesterday, saying he was going to take some time to discuss what to do next. More than 1,000 people are preparing to spend tonight running or walking laps at the Domain Athletic Centre. The gruelling 20-hour challenge symbolises the long-running fight against cancer, while raising vital funds to support those affected by the disease.
Denise has been diagnosed with breast cancer not once, but twice. Her partner Derek was also dealt a similar devastating blow, passing away from a rare cancer in May last year.
I could say why me, but there is so much happening around us that I prefer to move on.
Today, Denise is focused on putting one foot in front of the other, taking part in Cancer Council Tasmania's Relay for Life.
I have a passion because I see what the Cancer Council does to support people. My husband last year volunteered for Cancer Council.
And she's not walking alone, being joined by some very enthusiastic companions, all celebrating survivors and carers, while also raising awareness and support for those affected by the disease. And with the fundraising target $230,000, these dedicated participants are well on the way to knocking it out of the park.
At the moment, we're almost just shy of 180,000 that these incredible people have raised, which is a fantastic result. It's absolutely smashed what was raised last year.
Sadly, the number of cancer diagnoses in Tasmania is on the rise, with more than 11 people receiving the dreaded news every single day.
Unfortunately, the statistics are that a Tasmanian has a 1 in 3 chance of getting a cancer diagnosis by the time they're 75, and that will increase to 1 in 2 by the time they turn 85.
But for Denise, today is all about the camaraderie.
It's just such a wonderful feeling as you walk around the track, meeting others, talking to others and learning their experiences.
Raising awareness and funds one step at a time. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Wet and windy weather showed no signs of dampening spirits at this year's Nepal Festival. Hundreds gathering in song and dance for a parade, making their way from Macquarie Wharf 5 to Parliament Lawns in Salamanca. Nepalese street food and live entertainment igniting the senses throughout the day.
Australia is a multicultural country, so we are exploring our culture, our food, our music.
Is purely based on volunteering. For the last 6 months, more than 50+ volunteers have been putting a lot of efforts.
It's the second year the event has been held. Organisers hopeful of making it a permanent fixture on the state's events calendar. University have claimed their third title of the 2024-25 cricket season, defeating Kingborough this afternoon in the CTPL Grand Final. An unbeaten double century from Tim Ward setting Uni up for a monster 492-run total from their first innings. Kingborough's openers then dismissed cheaply at the start of a tough afternoon. Param Apple taking the final wickets. Uni won by an innings and 440 runs. Hurricanes heavy hitter Tim David's last over cameo helped the Royal Challengers Bengaluru take out a convincing 50-run win over the Chennai Super Kings in the Indian Premier League. David blasting 22 off just 8 balls to help set an imposing 196-run total.
Off that last ball. No, he's got hold of that. That's 6. The big man, it's in the swing.
His Aussie teammate Josh Hazlewood starred with the ball, taking 3 wickets to restrict the Super Kings to 146 after 20 overs. Launceston cycling star Josh Duffy has landed a podium finish and another medal for Tasmania in the National Championship men's final in Brisbane. It was a close race between the Tasmanian and his New South Wales rivals, but Duffy wasn't able to keep up at the end, going on to take 3rd place. Kurth Ether finished first, followed by Cameron Scott in 2nd.
Good evening. Hobart reached 23 today. Our top was in Launceston with 27 there. Devonport and Burnie both managed 25 degrees. Low Head, St Helens and Friendly Beaches all 24. 23 on Flinders Island and at Smithton. Ouse 21. 20 on King Island. Grove 18. 17 in Strawn and 16 in Lyweenie. A frontal band is seen weakening to the east of Tasmania with cloudy conditions across the majority of the state. Now that band continues to push across our east with patchy high cloud remaining. Tomorrow a high lies to the south of the Bight and extends a ridge over southern Tasmania, while ex-tropical cyclone Diane remains over the Kimberley. Southeasterly winds 20 to 30 knots about northern waters, grading up to 15 knots in southern waters, southwesterly swells increasing to 3.5 metres. We have a strong wind warning tomorrow for coastal waters between Low Rocky Point to Wineglass Bay. A shower or 2 in Hobart tomorrow, cooling down to 16. Similar conditions in Richmond, 17. A cloudy day in Ouse with 17 also. Launceston, partly cloudy, 19. A mostly sunny Sunday in Devonport, 19. Fine 2 in Deloraine with 18 the maximum. Plenty of sunshine for Burnie and Strawn, 19. A bit of cloud for Curry, 19's the top. A couple of showers for St Helens and Swansea, 17 expected there. A windy and cloudy day in Whitemark with 19 degrees. Monday, cloudy with showers about the east and south, but fine and partly cloudy elsewhere. Tuesday, we welcome the first day of April with mostly cloudy skies and light showers about the east and south. And on Wednesday, fine apart from light showers about the east coast and the Furneaux Islands. Further across the country tomorrow, a wet and windy day expected in Sydney, 24, 25 and sunny in Adelaide, partly cloudy in Perth and also Canberra. Hobart right now, 13 degrees, 16 in Launceston and 17 in Devonport. Pretty good conditions for an AFL clash. A little windy, however, in Launceston. That's just about to kick off at UTAS Stadium Blue.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Kaya. That's all your news for this Saturday night. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be with you tomorrow. Enjoy your evening. Good night.